Tennis might look graceful, but sometimes it turns into pure chaos. I once watched a match with my jaw on the floor as a top player screamed at the umpire like he was in a street fight. Here are the top 10 ATP tennis meltdowns and angry moments. From furious arguments to broken rackets and walk-offs, these are the moments where pressure, pride, and frustration boiled over. You are about to see that even the greatest can lose control when emotions run too high. Number 10. Novak Djokovic loses it at the French Open crowd. Everything boiled over for Novak Djokovic during his fourth-round match at the 2018 French Open. He was facing Marco Cecchinato in a tight, pressure-packed battle. Then came the moment that tipped him over. As Djokovic was setting up for a key forehand, someone in the crowd shouted just before he made contact. The timing could not have been worse. He mishit the ball and immediately turned to the stands, furious. He waved his arms, scolded the spectators, and made a shushing gesture. This was not just a quick outburst. It lingered, showing just how much it rattled him. Even at the changeover, Djokovic kept fuming. After losing the match, his frustration spilled into the press room. His answers were short, clipped, and laced with irritation. What should have been a chance to regroup turned into a moment fans still talk about whenever crowd behavior comes up at Roland Garros. Number 9. Troickis Wimbledon meltdown over a call. Viktor Troicki was already tense, and the situation only got worse during his 2016 Wimbledon match against Albert Ramos Vinolas. The tipping point came when the umpire overruled the serve that Troicki believed was clearly out. He immediately screamed in disbelief. Not one to hold back, he stormed toward the umpire, grabbed the ball, and pointed to it. He shouted that there was no chalk, trying to prove it could not have touched the line. The intensity of his reaction was off the charts. The crowd went silent for a moment, stunned by the scene unfolding on one of tennis' most traditional courts. His yelling echoed well beyond the baseline. It was raw emotion and total loss of composure. Troicki's meltdown may not have changed the call, but it definitely made its way into Wimbledon's list of unforgettable moments. Number 8. Serena's US Open controversy. Tensions were sky-high during the 2018 US Open final between Serena Williams and Naomi Osaka. Midway through the match, the chair umpire accused Serena of receiving coaching from her box. That did not sit well with her. She immediately fired back, saying she would never cheat and demanded an apology. Things escalated quickly. As the game wore on, so did her frustration. She called the umpire a thief after being penalized a point, and then lost an entire game due to a third violation. The crowd got louder. Serena grew more emotional. Meanwhile, Osaka kept her head down and focused. But the match was no longer just about tennis. It had become a full-blown controversy. When the final point was played, it was Osaka who won her first Grand Slam title. But the spotlight had already shifted to Serena's outburst and the penalties that came with it. Number 7. Djokovics Shanghai Masters rant. Novak Djokovic is no stranger to pressure, but during the 2015 Shanghai Masters, that pressure boiled into frustration. Facing Jo-Wilfried Tsonga, Djokovic was already tense when a laid-out call on a ball he did not chase down triggered the drama. The umpire awarded the point to Tsonga, saying the call came after Djokovic would have hit the shot. Novak was livid. He argued that he had time and space to make a return if not for the late call. The very next game, it happened again. A slice backhand was challenged and called in, but once again, Djokovic lost the point. He could not believe it. At the next changeover, he vented in a long rant that carried on while he sat, clearly fuming. The camera caught every second. That moment showed how even the calmest players can unravel when decisions feel unfair. Number 6. Nalbandian injures line judge at Queen's. David Nalbandian's outburst at the 2012 Queen's Club final remains one of the most shocking in tennis history. He was playing well against Marin Cilic, even up a set, when things took a sharp turn. After missing a forehand while on the run, Nalbandian lost control of his temper. He kicked a wooden advertising board right next to a line judge's chair. The board shattered and slammed into the line judge's leg, causing a deep gash. Blood was visible, and the judge was clearly in pain. The crowd was stunned. Nalbandian looked remorseful, but the damage was done. Officials had no choice but to disqualify him on the spot. His lead in the match meant nothing after that moment. The incident raised questions about player conduct and safety and is still brought up when discussing tennis meltdowns with real consequences. Number 5. Nick Kyrgios goes off the rails in Cincinnati. If there is one player known for unpredictable behavior, it is Nick Kyrgios. During his 2019 match against Karen Khachanov in Cincinnati, he took things to a whole new level. Throughout the match, Kyrgios kept ranting about the umpire, calling him the worst referee he had ever seen. His frustration did not stop there. In a moment rarely seen, he left the court mid-match and went into the locker room. Cameras did not follow him, but when he returned, 2 of his rackets were completely smashed. He continued yelling and arguing, barely focusing on the tennis itself. The outburst stretched over the entire match, affecting both players. Kyrgios never really settled down, and the match ended with more tension than actual drama from the gameplay. Number 4. Gonzalez's message with a smash. Fernando Gonzalez sent a message in the loudest way possible during his 2007 Miami Open match against Stepanek. It all started with Stepanek taking too long between points, slowing down the game. After dealing with the delay repeatedly, Gonzalez had enough. He delivered a hard serve, got a weak return, and then made a statement. Instead of placing a winner, he smashed the ball straight at Stepanek, hitting him on the backside. It was not subtle. He looked right at him afterward, as if to say, "Speed it up." The crowd had mixed reactions. Some gasped, others laughed, but everyone understood the message. Gonzalez never apologized for the move. While it did not result in a penalty, it was definitely one of the most personal and deliberate moments of anger ever seen in a professional match. Number 3. Dumitrovs self-destruct in Istanbul final. Grigor Dimitrov had the chance to win the 2016 Istanbul Open, but his emotions got the best of him in the final set against Diego Schwartzman. The match was tight. Each of the first 2 sets went to a tiebreak, but in the third, things unraveled. Dumitrov started missing shots, and the frustration built fast. After dropping a few games, he smashed one racket. Moments later, another. Then, with the crowd watching in disbelief, he demolished the third. That was it. The umpire had to step in. 3 code violations meant an automatic disqualification. Instead of finishing the match, Dumitrov walked off after being defaulted. Fans expecting a thrilling finish were left stunned. Dumitrov's meltdown was complete. It was one of the rare times a top player has been kicked out of a final because of pure frustration. Number 2. Nick Kyrgios Rome chair toss. Nick Kyrgios makes a second appearance on this list, and for good reason. At the 2019 Rome Masters, he completely lost his cool after being distracted by spectators walking and talking during his serve. He asked for quiet, but when it continued, he snapped. First, he shouted toward the crowd, then slammed his racket to the ground. Just when things seemed like they might calm down, he walked over to a chair and threw it across the court. That was the breaking point. Officials had no choice but to default him from the match. The moment instantly went viral. Even by Curios standards, this outburst stood out. It was chaotic, sudden, and left everyone wondering what had just happened. Number 1. John McEnroe's iconic Wimbledon blowup. This one is legendary. During the 3rd round of Wimbledon in 1981, John McEnroe had already built a reputation for being fiery. But what happened in this match became part of sports history. A serve he hit was called out. Chalk flew up, which usually means the ball clipped the line. McEnroe could not believe the call. He turned to the umpire and shouted what would become his most famous line, "You cannot be serious." He repeated it with growing intensity. The crowd reacted instantly. Some booed, others laughed, but McEnroe was not done. He kept arguing, refusing to let it go. That one moment turned into a cultural catchphrase. Even people who do not watch tennis know that line. It has been replayed countless times, on talk shows, in documentaries, and in highlight reels. McEnroe's meltdown may not have changed the call, but it definitely changed tennis pop culture forever. Tennis is not just about talent, it is also about keeping your cool. Which of these meltdowns do you think crossed the line the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments, give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and do not forget to subscribe. Let me know what countdown I should do next.